Hi guys, it's time for a Scraproom Tour video. I've been spending the past couple of weeks changing up my organization and purging quite a lot and just shifting things around a little bit and mostly what I've been doing is spreading out a little bit. I was determined to keep my scrapbooking room in this area here, from here over and from here over, so into the little, basically the space is an L-shaped room, but I've sort of given into what I called craft room creep in my last video, because I think I like the idea of spreading out a little bit and the space is still usable for the kids. Right now we have 2 couches in here, which makes it very crowded, but this is going to be the couch that's going to be here, but this futon over here is going to be moved and gotten rid of. So this space will be a lot bigger for the kids to play in eventually, and that bike is going to be going, so. And that is the kids' craft storage area, and that's the kids' craft table, so we're just going to focus on from here over. So the newest addition to this space is that antique table. There used to be a very flimsy foldable table that was actually really sagging, and my cameo was kind of on a very strange angle, and then whenever I put my laptop it was at another very strange angle. So I got rid of that, and we already had this desk. So it was just out in the garage and we were going to use it for something else. We were going to kind of refinish it and paint it and stuff, but I decided I wanted to leave it as it was and just use it down here. So when I got that, what I decided to do was get some display units for above it. So those are 2 of those half-depth Jetmax cubes, and I'll show you a little bit closer in a few minutes. But up until this arrangement, my scrap room was very utilitarian and I didn't have a chance to display a lot of the things that I have that I'd love to display. And so I decided if I'm going to spread out a little bit, I'm going to put some things that I really love in my scrap room. And I have a whole bunch of my dad's wooden toys that he made, and they were in a box in the back room, and I just thought that was a real shame for them to be in a box. Like, we put some up in Olivia's room and in Sophie's room, but they just don't have enough room to have like a huge display of collectibles in there. So I have spread them around my craft room, and I'm really happy to have them out of the box. And I've also had a chance to put some of the mini albums that I made when I used to do mini albums, and I'll probably do them again someday. And so it's just kind of nice to have some of the things that I've created around me, as well as some of the things that my dad has created around me. So I'm going to stop blabbing now and just talk about my room. So this right here is a chest of drawers that holds a bunch of things that I don't use all that often. So things like bubble wrap and Tassimo packaging and that sort of thing. And then in this drawer, the green drawer, is like some, well, I'll show it later. So anyways, that just has stuff I don't use very often. And then my current scrapbook, and then my current pocketed page protector scrapbook. I'm hesitant to use the word Project Life because I'm not really committing to doing Project Life this year. But I do love doing Project Life, so I'm sort of doing it whenever I feel like it. So I'm doing project, putting stuff in pocketed page protectors whenever I feel like it, instead of Project Life. Anyways, this is one of my 2 typewriters, and it was a typewriter that my dad bought my mom, pardon me, when she went to college to get, like, I don't know, secretary training or something. So I have that, and that's really nice because it's a modern typewriter, and it's really, really easy to use and to line up stuff, and it's kind of like a really simple, easy to use typewriter, and it works very consistently, which is good. This is my second typewriter. This is an older one. It's also a plug-in, but in order to use it, all that I do is I just pull this right out like that. It's already plugged in, so I just turn it on like that, and then I do my typing. And this one has the kind of it's got the little arms that go up and hit the paper, and I really, really like this one. It has a really vintage look to it compared to my other one, but it is quite a bit harder to set up for paragraphs and stuff like that. So if I'm doing a lot of typing, I'll do it on the other one, but if I'm only doing a sentence or so, I'll do it on this one because it has much more of a vintage look. And I have to pull it out to use it because this goes moves back and forth. So there's just not enough room. Oops, I do not want to push that off of my table. That would be disastrous. And it's pretty light. This whole unit is pretty light. So you see the arm wouldn't have room to move back there. Here is my little Umbra display thing. You're supposed to display pictures on it, but I have put up some of the cards that people have sent me from YouTube, and just other like handmade things that people have sent me. So I have that right there. And then this is my island. It was in my other kitchen in my other home, and but it wasn't like attached to the floor, so we brought it with us. And then it was a winemaking table, and then now it's this. So it's had a couple of functions. I have these two really cheap stools that serve the purpose of just when I have people come over to scrapbook with me, there's a space for them to sit. Usually someone will sit here, and I'll move my Scrap-a-ma-bob from over there to over here so that the person sitting here has a garbage and stuff like that. So that's that space. This desk is really, really handy to have because it doesn't sag, it's actual wood. So it's nice for my Cameo to have an actual horizontal surface to sit on. And then my husband, my laptop was giving me trouble because it's basically just doesn't have enough memory to handle all of the video work that I do. So I was thinking about buying a new iMac or a new laptop, and I couldn't decide. And then like my husband has an iMac and a laptop, so he just said that I could have his iMac, even though it's no older than, like it's no newer than the laptop that I already had. It just has more memory in it because it's a desktop computer. So there's some of the things that I put on display. That piece of artwork there, it's native Canadian artwork, and it is my PhD supervisor gave me that when I graduated, so that's kind of a special thing that marks something special in my life. And then that's one of my favorite mini albums there, and then that's just a color that I really like in a vase. And then there's a bunch of my favorite mini albums in that silver dish there. And then these are all of the wooden things here are things that my dad made. And then this is a set of wooden blocks of some of the buildings of New York City that I got at a really cool store in New York when I went in September. And then this is something that I gave my dad one day, and so Mom gave it to me after he passed away. And then this is a little Andy Warhol figurine that my sister gave me, and the letter T. So it's really nice to have this space because these drawers are awesome. Let me show you what I have in these drawers. Well, anyways, look at the size of this drawer. I can have all of my Cameo mats in here, and even this pad of Stampin' Up! Paper that I never had anywhere to put before because it's so big. And so this drawer is perfect for that. And I also have like a little computer screen cleaner thing in here. And this is something someone sent me in a rack. And then I keep all of like the confetti from my Cameo cuts in here in case I ever want to use it for confetti. And all my like Cameo tools, those are actually Cricut tools, but I use them for my Cameo. And like glue for resticking my mat and for sticking Cameo, tiny Cameo cuts onto things is all right there. And then in here I get a place to keep like my computer wires and post-it notes and stuff. And then in here I can keep all of my completed layout sheets that I do, because if I ever submit something for publication somewhere, or if I post it on my blog, I like to have a list of all the supplies I used. So that's right there. There's something in the back too. Oh yeah, sketches are in the back. I have a box of sketches. I never use sketches anymore, but I don't want to get rid of them because I went to so much trouble making the box and stuff. I can't remember what I have in here. Oh, just like office stuff. And then in here is all of my colored pencils. I think I have Gamsol and stuff in here too. And I just put it in this tray so that I can just pick it up and bring it. Usually when I color, I'm watching TV. And in here, I think are my Copic markers. Yeah, that's my Copic markers and some coloring stuff. These are 2 stacked Jetmax cubes that this one it was supposed to have a door on this part right here, but I just never did install the door, and I keep my embossing stuff and some like markers and stuff in there. And then these are sort of things that I might use often, so extra adhesive that I don't keep in that thing. So like hot glue guns and extra pop dots and stuff like that. And then tags in this, of course. So tags and envelopes. And then in here I keep my masks. And I just put this laser cut paper in here because I use that as a mask too. So I've got like a small assortment of masks, but I don't have a ton. Okay, so at the top of this double stacked Jetmex cube set here, up here is where I keep my blenders in this little carousel type of holder thingy. I love this. Good Grief You, who's Allison, who is Good Grief You on YouTube, sent me this in a rack, and I love, love, love having a place to keep all of my blender tools. And she gave me most of the blender tools too, so it's just really nice having dedicated sponges for each color. And then here I keep my embossing things in one of these little trays, which is exactly like the trays that came with this Jetmex. I got two of these same cupboards at the same time. I put the door on one of them, and you'll see that one a little bit later, and then the other one I left the door off of, and I grabbed one of the extra trays from the other one to put in this one, if that makes any sense at all, because I wanted to use it here and I have something else in it in the other one. So this is where I just keep my embossing tools, like little paintbrushes for scraping away stray pieces, and my craft mat for when I do messy things. I just keep it kind of rolled up and in there. And then I keep my embossing powder in these Rubbermaid, what are these called? Ziploc containers. And so I have black, white, clear, and then I have Udi and black Udi back there, and something else. I think I have glitter or something, like just plain glitter in one of those as well. And then this is a little weird unit. It's like another Jetmex. And when I say Jetmex, most of these are actually the Recollections version of Jetmex. But this is like a half height one, so it's the full depth but half the height. And it came with these stackable drawers, but I only use the bottom drawer because I was having trouble pulling out the drawers, and I just don't like, I'd rather just slide something in than have to pull out drawers. So this might be a bit of a waste of a drawer, but this drawer is basically just to keep my flare in, and so it's easily accessible. I can just grab it, and there are some other things in there. They're mostly wood block stamps that I don't want to let go of, but I don't really have a place to keep wood block stamps, so they're in there. And then this is the place where I keep my kit, and you guys have probably seen these if you've seen any of my summary. You've probably already seen this space, my summary videos of my Studio Calico kits. And so I have these 3 hangers up here that I hang the alphabets on. This month I didn't get any add-ons, so I only have 1 alphabet. And then I just put the different embellishments from the kit in these trays, and I put the paper in this. And I get a lot of questions about what this is. It is actually the box from a Becky Higgins. Let me see if I have the side that has the logo. Yep. So it's the box of a Becky Higgins big package of page protectors. And so I bought 2 of those boxes, so I've got 4 pieces of these boxes because they come like in nestable, 2-piece boxes. So there's throughout my craft room, and you'll see them as I show you guys the craft room. I just wanted to say about this, the 2 drawers that are missing here are elsewhere in my craft room. So I'm going to show you. You'll have to come with me. It might make you a little bit motion sick, but I'm going to try to go slow. So I'm going to go right across my room like this and over to here. And you'll see that I have 1 right there, and I'll talk about it later, what's in it, Project Life. And then I have 1 over here. And so those are the 3 drawers that came in that half height unit, and this is layering stuff that I keep there. So that's where those are. And then I have another one of those Becky Higgins boxes, and I just have the 2 of them nested together. And this is where I keep my layouts that I haven't put in scrapbooks yet. Basically, I scrapbook for a month and I keep all my layouts here or on display in my house, depending on kind of how much I like them or whether I want to display them or not. And then at the end of the month, when I do my summary video, that's when I take them all out of here, do my summary video, and then I put them all in my scrapbook. And then this is empty again and ready for my next month of scrapbooking. So back over to here. Above that is a place where I'm displaying my new camera, which is the Diana, which is a film camera. It's actually a plastic toy camera, but it does take pictures, and I've been kind of learning how to do film photography since January. Well, it's still January, but and so I keep some of my extra film and stuff like that. And I also have my other film camera, which is a Fuji Instax camera, which I have reviewed. I'm gonna review this one, but I'm gonna wait until I take a couple more rolls of film so I have more meaningful and information that makes sense. So I just keep like my tripod and the extra, there's a fisheye lens and some extra stuff there. And then this is just display. So I've got a candle, and this is from my wedding shower, and a little piece of, I forget what that purple crystal-y stuff is called. And then I just really like that box for my fisheye lens, so I kept it. And then that's some ATCs from a long time ago when I did an ATC trade. So this is my Making Memories carousel, which I love, love, love and use all the time. And I'm not sure how it compares to the Pampered Chef one that I really wanted, but I didn't know anybody who sold Pampered Chef when I got this, and so I got this instead, and it meets my needs fine. I do like that it's got like little places to hang things, although I never use these. I hang them there just because I can. But it's nice because I've got like places to put my scissors and my bone folder, which I also never use. But you know, basically I mostly use these. And I've got some tweezers, and I'm going to start using tweezers. I'm trying. I'm not good at using tweezers. I keep my stamps, and I'm going to do a more detailed video about this, but I keep my stamps on these homemade cards that are made using white cardstock and 2 pieces of transparency. And I recently really purged down my stamps and only kept my photopolymer stamps that I really like, and some Amy Tangerine. Like really, I got rid of probably hundreds of stamps and dozens of stamp sets, just because I wasn't using them. So, and I find I get really overwhelmed when I have way too much stuff to choose from, and I would rather have fewer good things than a whole bunch of stuff that I never use. So I got rid of a whole bunch of stamps. Like, it's unbelievable. So these stamps, I just want to talk a little bit about these. I'll show you a sample. So these stamps are several different stamp sets, and what I do is I take the acrylic piece off of the stamp set that has like the sample on it, and I just glue it onto a piece of white cardstock, and then on the other side of the white cardstock I have adhered a piece of, let me just open this. It's kind of hard to do it one-handed. So on the other side of this, I have adhered a piece of transparency paper. So this is a layer of cardstock and a layer of transparency, and then I put the stamps on the transparency roughly behind wherever, roughly similar to where it is on the picture on the back, and then I attach with a piece of packing tape a second piece of transparency that just kind of goes over the top of this, and just basically keeps the stamps clean. And then I store them in my basket like this. So now I can look through 7 or 8 different sets of stamps just by bringing out 4 different cards. I can set them all on my table over here and kind of have a quick glance of all my stamps. And I would much rather scrapbook that way and have everything at a glance instead of having to flip through books or packages and that sort of thing. So that's how I do my stamps. This is my space that you guys see all the time. And I'll just step back so that you can see how I set up my tripod. I do have a separate video about this that's fairly old, but it talks about how I have my tripod set up. If you're wondering what that big black ugly thing is, it's actually a roll of garbage bags that I just needed something heavy to weigh down my tripod so that it doesn't tip easily if my cat comes along. So even if it tips, it's not gonna go anywhere because that garbage bag keeps it stable. So my mom gave me that owl for Christmas this year, and so I put my most used pens there and my least used pens back there. I do a lot of outlining and stuff, so I use my pens a lot. I keep all of my most favorite alphabet stamps that I use the most right there. I don't use alphabet stamps so much now that I'm not doing Project Life, but I used to use them a whole lot. That's my paper piercer, which is... I don't know what this is, but it's, I don't know if you would call this an awl or if it's called something else, because it's actually a kitchen utensil. It came from Scott's grandmother, and this matches her like forks and knives and then stuff. This is just one of those pieces of foam that you get in a set of brads, and I've been using that for piercing because I didn't want to spend money on a piercer when it's basically just a piece of foam. So I've changed my embellishment center. I used to have my inks in this guy right here, and it was great. I had my neutrals up there and my colors down there, but it was getting overcrowded, so I needed to find another way to do my inks because I was having to dig too much. Like, I like digging, but when you've got too much stuff in a vessel, it's really hard to find what you need. So I decided to display my inks like this. So I have them arranged like this. These are my colors, and then I put the neutrals kind of spread out across those two shelves right there. I have a couple of other inks and stuff and my embossing powders. That's my little bowl that I keep sequins in. And I keep the sequins in these little Ziploc baggies that I got off eBay a long time ago for some other project. And then I have a whole bunch of white, clear, and mini ones, and mini white ones. And there's a couple of other ones in there that just got in there by accident. But I just keep them loose because I had a lot of them. And they're neutral, so it's easy to just kind of go in and grab them. And that's my grandmother's sugar dish. And then this is where I keep my little personalized stamps that say my name. I got these a long time ago at an Etsy shop called, well, this one isn't. This one is from the Paperie, I think, on Etsy. And it just says, like, handmade by me. And then there's another one. There's some, like, just generic ones, too. And then this one, I love this one. If you had any idea how hard I worked on this handmade card and how late I was up last night making it, you would never ever throw it away, Tracy. And that is so relevant because I am such a crappy card maker. It takes me forever to make a card, and then I end up hating it. And yeah, so then I also have this one created by Tracy. And both of these two came from Stamp Out Online, which is an Etsy shop. I have a couple of generic ones that just say handmade by, and then a blank, and you can write your name. So there's that. And then just miscellaneous little weird things that I have only one or two of, and a craft knife. And then there are all those inks, and they're arranged by color, by the color spectrum. And then I did this that I saw someone else do really recently. I think people are posting about this really recently, either on Studio Calico or 2Ps or on somebody's blog or something. So I just decided to do this, which is, you know, basically just a sampling. I took my Tim Holtz stamp die and just took some cheap cardstock, but white, so that I could just do a sample. And the only one that isn't white is the one that I sampled the white ink on, so that you could see what it looks like. So yeah, and some of my misters don't spray very well, so I wanted to kind of warn myself of that. So this is an example. So I just left it like that so that I would remember that that one has a clogged nozzle, and so does that one. And I know that I could clean it and fix it, but I don't, because I really don't spray very often. I mostly just splatter, so. All right, so that's that. And then I have all of my chalk inks right here, or yeah, these are chalk inks or pigment inks. And then Tim Holtz inks, which I rarely use anymore, right there. And then those are just cute stamps that I like. And then these are miscellaneous inks that I really don't use all that often. I ought to get rid of them, and my blocks are right there. And then what I've done with this little thing now that it doesn't have my inks is I put my roller date stamps in it, and I love that for them. I was keeping them up here in a little container, but I was running out of room in the container, so yeah. So I keep them in here, and they're easy to reach, and I use them a lot, so it's nice to have them like that. Then I keep, excuse me, Maya. Then I keep all of my little label-y things and these tags, like whenever I have little things like this, like these are from Avalicious, I just put them on these cards with temporary adhesive so that I can flip through and see what I have. And I even do that with my printables from Studio Calico. If I cut them up, or any leftover die cuts that they give you, anything that I don't use, I just kind of take my temporary adhesive and just stick it onto these cards. And that way I don't have to, like I found when I was keeping them in a little container, they were all getting flipped over and I could never see what I had and that sort of thing. And then these are just some labels from the Project Life kit that I haven't used yet. And then I keep my my Mind's Eye and Jelly Bean soup labels in here too, and my Martha Stewart labels are back there. And I know what I have, so I know what to go looking for, so I don't mind digging in this way. So I'm just going to take out some of these things so that I can put them back in a way. I just like them to be in such a way that I can see what I have. So that's that. Now lately I've been keeping these two dishes out on my table. This one has a bunch of vellum arrows from a kit that came a couple of months ago, maybe the December-November kit. And I just really want to use them. And there's too many of them to put on those cards, so I'm going to put them there and hope that I use them. And then this is stuff that I've taken out for projects that I haven't put back yet, so I'm hoping that I'll just use it before I need to put it back. So some of these are from the Pop Off the Page class, and some of them are just stuff I pulled and then didn't end up using. So I keep my Mind's Eye enamel dots right here like this, and I like them see-through because I can see what colors I have at a glance, and I just keep a couple of cards to keep them stable. And then I keep all of my Polaroid frames. I have some pink paisley ones, and I have a lot of pink paisley ones. I have some ones that I cut myself. These ones with my Cricut, or not with my Cricut, with my Cameo. And then I have these little ones that I bought. They're Heidi Swap ones, but they're very similar to the ones that I make with my Cameo. So I keep those here just because they're sort of one of those trendy things that if I don't use them up, I'm going to find these Polaroids in my stash someday and say, oh yeah, remember when people used Polaroids? I'm not going to use those anymore. And so I got to get them used, so I'm putting them right here. This is another new unit that I bought, and it is exactly the same as the one over there that I'm using for display. This one I'm going to use to keep my inks on, and you'll notice that it's empty because I'm going to buy new inks. And there's a long story behind. Look at Maya. She's so sleepy. Maya. Go to sleep, kitty. So anyways, I've got my Hero Arts neons right there, and my Jenny Bolin, which I don't like. I don't love how they stamp. I've got my StazOn down there, but I've got room here for more ink things because I think I'm gonna get. I know I'm gonna get, because I've already ordered them, some Hero Arts Shadow Midtone inks, and then this is my little thing that I use for sweeping up my workstation when I'm done. This is just a little notepad with like ideas and lists of things I need to do and that sort of thing. Keep my Stampin' Up! Markers right there, because even though I don't use my inks very much, that's the only set of ink like stamping markers that I have, and I've got a nice variety of colors, so I'm happy to keep those there. I have moved what used to be here was some wooden boxes that held my Stampin' Up! Inks. I've moved those boxes and inks over to here because I never use these inks. I don't know what it is, but I just never use them, which is why I'm buying new inks. And you know why I never use them and why I was so annoyed that I wanted to buy new inks is because when these boxes are over here, and when I'm working on a project and my table shakes, all the inks fall forward and fall out because Stampin' Up! Inks do not stack. And so they're a real pain to store unless if you have a specific storage unit for them, which I don't, and I don't want to buy a storage unit for inks I rarely use. So instead, what I've decided to do was buy some updated colors in the Hero Arts inks and give them a try and see how it goes. So that's what those spaces are for. I used to keep my wood veneer shapes in the same containers that they're in right now, but I used to have them all along there. So I wanted to keep them separated by their shape. Some packages are combined there. Let me see if I can get some more light on this. There you go. Yeah, so that's pretty self-explanatory. They're just these little containers that I get at Michael's, and they stack on top of one another. And, you know, they're pretty great because they're see-through, so I know what shapes I have, and I know when I'm running out of my favorite shapes and that sort of thing. So here's where I keep my washi tape. I keep it in these, this is a bamboo cutlery storage thing tray that I got from Winners, which is a Canadian kind of discount store.